Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Aaron, and in this video today, I'm gonna be doing my Getting Things Done weekly review. So I'm hoping that this video can be sort of a guide or do it with me kind of thing, where we can together go through the entire GTD weekly review process and hopefully, end up really clear and on top of what we need to be doing with everything. Getting Things Done, if you don't know, is a book that I read by David Allen. It's a very great book, very popular for productivity. The tagline is stress-free productivity. I read the book, I really liked it. I ended up doing some personal one-to-one coaching with some certified Getting Things Done coaches. And this really helped me formulate the habit of the weekly review. And so the weekly review is probably the cornerstone of the Getting Things Done methodology, because this is what really gets you back into clear, a headspace of nothing's going on, just being in the present, and that's what's really amazing. Throughout the week, things come up, you write things down, you try to process them as you go, but things pile up. And so what happens is our mind gets full of all these different things that we have to remember and do, and like things to say or remember or write or get this person a gift. And so all these little tasks and things to remember get lost in our mind because our mind can only hold so much. The first few weekly reviews, I will say, were really difficult because I had so much stuff to try to figure out and organize and put into a system. But now that I've been doing it for couple of years now, actually, it's been super effective. And so whenever I'm really out of sorts, it's usually because I skipped a weekly review. It's Friday today, and Friday is usually my day that I like to do the weekly review because it's just a good way to end the week, go into the weekend nice and clear. So what we'll do today is we'll go with me and we'll go one by one, do the GTD weekly review process to hopefully help you with your process and your system. I'll get started. If you look at this guide right here, this is the GTD weekly review. The first step on the review process here is to get clear. And so what includes the process of getting clear is collecting all the loose papers, materials, gathering all the business cards, the mail, receipts, anything, post-it notes, things that you've left over, just collect them all and put it into your physical inbox. So I've got an inbox over here, which is really great is actually this is empty. I did my weekly review last week, and funny enough, this week has been pretty clear, and so I didn't have too much in the physical. And then what you want to do is you want to get into zero. So inboxes to zero is really important. That's every inbox too, by the way, not just the physical inbox, that's email inboxes, voicemails I also like to clear. I have a whole list, a checklist of all the inboxes that I need to process. And so this is actually usually probably the biggest step in my weekly review because I have so much inboxes that I have to clear. And then the next step of getting clear is emptying your head. And so this is a really good step because even though, as the week goes, you might be writing stuff down and putting into your inboxes for you to process later, like some things get missed. And so I'm no stranger to this. And so I'll be taking a little bit of time today to try to empty my head. And I'll also be reviewing the trigger list. So for those of you who don't know, trigger list, so I have this in printed out version as well, essentially is just a list of a bunch of things to help you try to remember, what you're missing, right? And so I always like to review this after I've kind of given myself some time to just jot down some things that I'm missing. And that really helps me kind of get everything emptied out. Okay, so I'll get started with getting clear. Show you my Getting Things Done system, which I use the Reminders app. So you can see here, I've really used it to its, I could say fullest potential. When I go to a weekly review, getting clear, I always start with the checklist here, which is just one of my reference folders here. So this is my inboxes to clear. So what I'll do is I'll go through this one by one to clear every single inbox, and then I'll move on to the next step of getting clear. So the first step here, or the first inbox I should say, is wallets. Throughout the week, when I have receipts that come up or things that I pay for or notes, sometimes I'll just throw it in the wallet. So I've got a few notes here and you can put this in the inbox or you can just process it right away. So I'll process it right now. So the first thing I have here is a gas receipt. And so for this, what I'll do is I'm actually gonna process this by snapping a picture of it with my QuickBooks app. It's gonna just connect automatically to the expense for my business. And then I'll put it in a file folder under gas receipts. I don't really care too much about keeping the personal receipts super organized unless there's like a warranty or like something like that. So now my wallet's cleared. My physical inbox is not clear because I have that receipt in there, but I'll do that later. So I'll skip that one for now. My Reminders app. So my biggest inbox is gonna be this Reminders app right here. I only have 3 things, which is great. That's actually very low for my usual inbox. I usually have these things piling up. So what I'll do is I'll just go through this one by one and I'll follow the Getting Things Done method for processing my inbox, which is right here. Essentially, what we do is you have all these different things in your inboxes. You have to ask yourself, what is it? Is it actionable? If not, what should you do with it, right? Are you going to trash it, reference it, or incubate it? Or are you going to If it is actionable, you know, is it something you can do right now? If it's under 2 minutes, a 2-minute rule, just do it right away. If not, you can delegate it or defer it as well. I'll be processing these things that same way. So the first one I have here, make content for schedule for every Friday. So something I've been trying to do for the remainder of this year is to have a video every week on Friday. And so I want to make a calendar. Now, this is actionable. This is not going to take 2 minutes. In fact, I think this is more multi-step actions, right? Anytime there's a task in here that's going to take multiple actions to complete is a project. And so for a project, that sounds pretty good. Though I'm going to put that in my personal projects, and then every project has to have an action. So what I'll do is I'll make an action for that. So the next possible action is to sit down and brainstorm YouTube videos for my content schedule. So what I like to do is I like to make it really clear. Sit down, brainstorm YouTube video ideas. Let's make it clear. For my content schedule. I always like to reference the project itself. So now that I have a kind of clear next action for that project, I'll put this in next actions. That's pretty clear. That's a work thing, so I'll put that in Magic's next actions. Okay, so now my reminders inbox is clear. I'll go back to the inbox list. Reminders is done. Personal email. So personal email, it's pretty simple. Just pull that up. We've got, wow, got 15. Got 15 in my inbox right now, so that's a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through this one by one, just like I would with anything on my inbox, and I will process it. So I'll ask myself what it is, and then I'll either put it into an action folder for to defer to do later. If I send an email under 2 minutes, then I'll put it into the waiting for list. If I just want to reference it, I'll put it into a reference. And then if I don't need it, I'll just archive it, right? I don't delete things, I just archive it. I have another video about my inbox specifically for emails. So if you want to watch a video specifically of me going through the inbox emails and like showing you that process, I'll link it up here. But I'm gonna do this real quick and then we'll hop back to the next part of the inbox clearing list. Okay, finish my personal email. I'll move on to my other emails. So I've got Magic, one of my work emails. All right, Magic's done. I'll check my old College Pro email. And you definitely want to do this with all your emails, right? So have a list of every single inbox you have. It's so helpful because this will really help you get clear. No better feeling than being clear with GTD. I'll tell you that. Like it's like being free of all burdens in life. It's magical. Okay, another email. Wow, I forget how many emails I got. All right, so I went through my CRM with Magic, cleaned that up. Actually, while I was doing that, I processed that one receipt. I'm already feeling better, you know what I mean? Like I'm already halfway through these inboxes and we're just on the first step of getting clear. Next is iMessage. Got no notifications here, so that's clear. Voicemails, okay, this is a good one. So every Friday, I always try to empty out the voicemails. I actually did that yesterday morning, so that is also clear, but voicemails are really great to empty out. I always have like a notepad next to me with a pen just so I can write down the phone number, get the information that I need to call them back or even put it into my system. Facebook Messenger, let's see here. Usually it's pretty clear off the jump, yep. WhatsApp, we're good. Downloads folder, downloads is clear, perfect. Notes app, I have just a bunch of notes here, and so just go to notes. I got a bunch, so let me process this real quick. So for my notes app philosophy with this is like I use notes app on my computer, on my phone, jot things down, take notes for meetings, and if they just sit there in like the kind of notes folder, it just gets all messy and like I forget what things are for, and so I have like different like folders for different projects, I guess, or different like responsibilities that I have. And so this really helps me organize everything. Okay, now there's no more notes. I feel a lot better. Okay, so let's clear that guy now. Desktop, I actually deleted that also. No more desktop. LinkedIn, okay, that's good. Bookkeeper portal, my bookkeeper sends me stuff, and so I gotta go through that. Awesome, so I finished all my inboxes. They're all cleared. Now we'll go back to the getting things done weekly review, get into zero. So everything is now 0. Now we're going to empty your head. This is a fun section. So essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to do a thing called mind dump. And so if you've never mind dump before, it's very helpful. I usually either get a pen and paper or I just go right into the inbox of my reminders app. And I'm just going to give myself maybe 5 minutes or so just to jot down every single thing that comes to my mind. I'll give myself 2 minutes. If I can't think of anything, then I'll go back to the trigger list. So the trigger list, they have a personal trigger list and a professional trigger list. And these trigger lists include things like projects, commitments, upcoming events, administration, leisure, financial, pets, legal. It literally has like every single kind of area of focus or responsibility that like you'll need to attend to, either your personal or professional life. I literally take like a cue card and I just go one by one and I kind of just like look at all the little ones, because in each section they have, like in home/household, they have real estate, repairs, construction, remodeling, landlords, heating and air conditioning. And the goal of this trigger list, of course, for GTD is just to try to inspire something that you forgot, you know what I mean? Because you want to literally empty out your mind. So I'm going to do that right now, just do a quick mind dump and see if there's anything I can think of. I will say this trigger list is like super helpful because I was drawing a blank in my mind, but then as soon as I started reading some stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, forgot that, you know what I mean? Now that I've fully mind dumped, I've got a few things here that I was able to catch. I'm gonna go and process these as well. Now we can go on to the next section, which is get current. What you wanna do next is you want to review next action lists. You wanna mark off completed actions, review reminders, further action steps to record. So there are multiple action lists. For me personally, I have personal next actions, magic, which is my work, CP, which is college pro next actions, previous work, and then we've got callbacks, errands, grocery lists. These are some other lists that I've had before. I'm not really using them anymore. Before next travel, don't really need to use, and then wedding. So what I'll do is for these next action lists, I'm just gonna review each one, check to make sure that I've gotten everything that I've gotten out there. If there's some that remind me of more actions, I'll just write more actions. And then what I'll do is I'm gonna go to all my email inboxes, because on my emails, I have action item emails. So emails that I wanted to respond to, but maybe I just didn't have time, so I just put into action so I can have my inbox 0, but still have, you know, some kind of to-dos for later. So I'll go through the reminders first and then all my emails. Okay, done that. So now next step is to review previous calendar. You're just gonna look at a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long you want to at your previous calendar data. Make sure that there's no missing things or things that we forgot. It's a good way to trigger yourself to remember like, oh yeah, like I was supposed to give this person a call and then didn't, or send this person an email, right? So just go through your calendar right now and just look at the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however far you want to go back, just to try to see if there's anything you missed. So look at your next few weeks out. I like to look at like 4 weeks out just to see like what's coming up, you know what I mean? Now review waiting for lists. So for me, I've got a whole folder waiting for. So for all my email inboxes, I also have a waiting for tag. So when I archive emails that I maybe send out, I'll also tag it with waiting for if I'm expecting a response. So this is a really good way to remember, you know, what emails you have out there that people haven't responded to. So if people are disorganized and they're not getting back to you, it's a good way to like send follow-up emails. So a good example right here is a client that I emailed almost like 2 weeks ago and didn't get back to me. So it's a good way to just be like, hey, just following up on this. Keep that in waiting for. Review project and larger outcome lists. So you want to evaluate the status of projects, goals, the outcomes one by one, ensuring that at least one current next action item on each. Browse through project plans, support material, and any other work in progress material to trigger new actions, completions, waiting fors, etc. Great, so I'm just gonna review my project list. So for me, I've just got 4, or I got 3, I guess. Personal projects, magic, my current work, and then college pro, my previous work. And so I'm just gonna look through all of these, see if there's anything on there that inspires any next actions. Maybe I have to look at some support material, review any relevant checklists. Okay, great. So I actually do have some checklists. So this is my weekly review checklist. So I like to ensure that everything here is, you know, up to date, is done. All next actions are tagged. So I like to go through my next actions and tag them. I have different tags for different things like phone, computer, just to show like which device I can use it from. Big wins, easy wins. So sometimes I'm just in the mood to get some easy wins done out of the way. So I'll just tag it like that, stuff like that. So I'll just tag that. Receipts are scanned, done that already. Credit cards are paid. So this is a great opportunity for me. Every week on Friday, I just go to my bank account and I just pay off my credit cards. And so that's just a really good habit for me. So I'm just gonna go do that real quick. It's also good too to just like check your statements, see if like, there's anything on there that's that you didn't buy. Bye. All right, and then last but not least, the final section of the weekly review is to get creative. So this is the time to review your someday maybe list, review any projects or actions which may now have become active and transfer to the appropriate list, delete items that no longer interest. So I do have a someday maybe list. I think I have a couple. Last but not least, be creative and courageous. So any new, wonderful, harebrained, creative, thought-provoking, risk-taking ideas to add into your system. If you've been doing this along with me, going through the process of the weekly review, getting clear, getting current, and then now getting creative, you will feel this sense of peace, I'd say. Just like a weight lifted off your shoulder. Having kind of accounted for everything now, everything is in its proper place in a system, in the calendar, you know what's coming up, you know what's just happened. To me, this is priceless. This feeling right now is something that I don't think I've had since I was a child. I keep trying to tell people it's like being a child again, because it's nothing's on your mind. You're just in the moment, you're just playing. And so now I feel like I have everything accounted for, my responsibilities all taken care of. Now I can just go and just enjoy the weekend, enjoy the Friday night. So if you were doing this along with me, I hope you feel that same sense of peace that I feel. If you're new to GTD and this is maybe your first time kind of experiencing it, I highly suggest reading the book and getting into it. This has really saved me and my professional life, but also just my personal life, and just being able to be really active and present in my friends and family's lives and myself. Thanks guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other questions regarding the GTD weekly review system or the system in general, feel free to just drop it below. Thanks so much for watching again, and take care. Have a great weekend.